For starters, I am not even a cross-dresser. Let's start there. I don't want to go too deep into this. I just want to point out that, I understand, Calvin is just hating. It's a little fun hating, Because imagine if, somebody came to your job, you've been doing it for years, and on their one day there, did a better job than you ever could. You'd hate on that person too, and I understand. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Welcome to another episode of Breaking Hertz. This is episode 3. Thank you for being with us. Kama kawaida, it's your boy Hafare, aka Mr. Metronome, aka your girlfriend's boyfriend, aka Rodney Malik Casino, and with me,
I'm Sookie, aka Jessica Rabbit, aka Uzumaki, aka Anita Murage, and we're so happy to be back here.
Uzumaki, enjoy Uzumaki is spiral.
Week. Uzumaki is a spiral.
Is it because your life is spiraling out of control?
Maybe. But it was mostly after I'd read Junji Ito's manga.
Which is really good.
It's a really good manga. Everyone should get to read it at least once.
And the thing with it is it's creepy.
Yeah, but
it's
in a good way.
Not in a good way.
And he's exploring spirals.
Usidanganye watu. Msidanganye by the way. Mimi nawapatia
every spiral
you will not sleep.
Trigger warning for people with trypophobia.
Trigger warning to everyone. That shit is scary as hell, maze.
It's a horror manga.
It will make your skin crawl.
It's a horror manga. That's what it's supposed to do.
Again, Mimi, I'm full of love and light. I am okay, I didn't want to say Jim Jones.
So is Junji Ito.
Anyway, before we start, I would like to address some allegations made against my person. Slander, in fact. Again, libel. I'm contacting my lawyer after this. So, on the last episode of The Mics Are Open, Calvin Ali allude to the fact that I'm... Not to the fact, Ali allege. This is slander. That I'm an Eric Omondi type. For starters, I am not even a cross-dresser. Let's start there. I don't want to go too deep into this. I just want to point out that, I understand, Calvin is just hating. It's a little fun hating, Because imagine if, somebody came to your job, you've been doing it for years, and on their one day there, did a better job than you ever could. You'd hate on that person too, and I understand. Anyway, let's keep it moving.
Let's start it on let's just smoothly glide into what we were listening to
That's
last
what she said. That's what she said. No, really. So smoothly glide. Come on. It's there. It's low-hanging fruit. You go up through.
I kind of walked into that one. I did.
That's what she said. Okay, so I'll stop being Michael. I'll stop being Michael Scott. Okay. Now, what I was listening to this week. For starters, Mr. Man with the Vibe, Ashake, on your recommendation, really fire, really fire. One of the better African projects that has dropped this year. Really good. It's happy. It's a happy album. Unajibamba, and you'll start speaking Yoruba. All of us will start speaking Yoruba.
Did you see Trippie Redd proposing a remix of Terminator?
No.
It was on the TL today. I didn't know how to feel about it, but I was like...
No, I fuck with it. I just want to see what Trippie Redd will do.
Yeah, Trippie Redd on with Afrobeat, that would be interesting to see. I'm not gonna...
When he did Wee! Now Wee is a good song, was it? Who doesn't like Wee?
Yeah.
Yeah, on top of that, there's a lot of R&B this week. Don't Look Down by Prayer or whatever you say. Preye with the kofia. So you know what I mean?
The kofia.
Yes. And then there was 97 by Juniper and Sango.
Ooh.
Really fire. Iguan Flora by the homie Revamp. You guys need to get on that shit. Revamp has a really good record, really good track record of just projects, and he's really good. As in, nimesema good mara mingi, but he deserves it. Revamp anajua kile anafanya. And there was also Blah by Xavier Omar. That was fun. And then a bit of hip hop again. White Girl Wasted, Sunny Jim and the Purist.
I listened to it this morning. You sent it when Juicy,
yeah.
Yeah, it was fire. I liked it.
He's one of the few British rappers worth a damn.
Oh yeah, and what I liked about the project is Doom was on there.
Yes, it doesn't have Doom. It has so many names you
Premier, DJ Premier. That's a serious ode to hip hop.
You can actually recognize what's going on.
Yeah.
Kidogo nisongeshe ikiti. Wonderful. And then there was Rolling and Controlling by Dusty Locane. So you know who Dusty Locane is?
No.
He's that the other Pop Smoke. Like he makes drill. He has the same like deep
Cadence.
gravelly voice, and then he had this. His music has been on TikTok. Bob has me controlling, picture me rolling. That's him. Yeah, that's him. It's
Okay.
the project was kind of how can I put it? It's like it was made so that people can have something, because it has like it has 7 tracks, and then like 4 of them are like rolling and controlling part 1, rolling and controlling part 2, and it's like okay, I get it. You need to put something out to maximize the hype, but you could have done better. And finally, my most controversial listen of the week: Demons Controlled by Angels. No, Demons Protected by Angels.
Demons Protected by Angels
Nav. Yeah.
I never thought you'd ever talk about Nav on this show. Like
Navraj.
the first time. Nah. What?
Yes, Nav. Nav isn't as bad as you
Did
think.
it surprise you?
No, it didn't. It is exactly what I expected. Nav is Nav. You know,
What did you like about
he'll
it?
always have the big features. He'll always have like, and again, he's a very competent producer. All facts considered, he's a very competent producer. But at the end of the day, he has this very big ball of cornball energy around him that you cannot escape. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have good projects. He has some really good projects out there. This is not one of them. This was at best a 5 out of 10. Because Emergency Tsunami, I liked Emergency Tsunami. But I can understand why people wouldn't like Emergency Tsunami. Nav is literally if, like, take everything, everything about SoundCloud rap and distill it to its purest form. That is Nav. His music is all the same. He has not evolved as an artist for a very long time.
It's a reliable consistency.
Yes, but at the same time, Pia, you always know what to expect. It's like rice and beans. Like, it's okay, but you know how it will taste every single time before you eat it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I just a bit of ginger, a bit of garlic, and it might surprise you, like, ooh, that's different. But it's the same thing. But
It's reliable.
yeah, but again, would I recommend it? It's no. Again, I told you I don't.
You just listened to it.
Yeah, because like I can't listen to everything. Like I don't think everything I listen to is good.
Yeah.
I listen to it so that I can tell the people at home
that you listened to
Yeah.
it and that this is what you thought. Yeah.
it's a solid 5 out of 10. A solid 5 out of 10. It has the features, it does everything. Apparently there was supposed to be a Drake song on there, but again he felt like it didn't vibe, and you know Drake takes away from the project, blah blah blah. Yeah. So honestly, I feel like of all the things I listened to this week, that might be the weakest. That and actually no. Rolling and Controlling by Dusty Loki, that was the weakest. I think everything else is worth a listen. Even the Nav project, if you like SoundCloud rap, if you like that vibe, you should listen to it. Just so that make your own opinion. Like I don't know everything. Maybe mean like some terrorist from Zimbabwe.
Trust your taste, Mazi.
Yeah. And you?
Okay, it was a really interesting week for me. Funny you should talk about SoundCloud because that's where I spent a lot of my time also. For those of you who don't know, Karun's Lie to Me with Blocker Beats. A couple of artists have been trying their hand at like remixes, and I found a couple on SoundCloud that I really, really liked. One of them is by Nabalayo. If you don't know Nabalayo, she's a very interesting artist. She like pioneered her own genre called Changanya, which is a mix of I guess urban elements and like elements of folk music that represent Kenyan culture. She pioneered the genre when she was in KU.
What do you mean? That sounds so pretentious.
No.
Actually, I pioneered the genre. And a shout out to you.
You make your own sounds. Like that's a special thing to do as a musician. There was Rue the Goddess, there was Kimina. Jai also has a really good remix of Lie to Me. I found that a lot of people are like experimenting with house, Amapiano, just trying to give a different feel to Karun's vocals. I would love to see a like remix album. I feel like that's something I'd love to see from Karun. I don't know if I should be giving such recommendations, but ukiweza, it would really be great.
And if you listen, hit the like button.
Yeah.
Comment to drop a star in the comments. Tell us. Tupatie uhondo.
Maze. And the next one was, Kelela is back.
5 years, 6 years?
It's been 5 years.
Oh, it's been a
5
minute.
years since her debut album. She came back, not with a bang, but with a subtle nudge You know, I'm
hey guys, I'm here.
Hey guys, I'm back.
She pulled a Sky Ferreira on us.
Indeed.
How long did Sky Ferreira disappear for? Like 10 years?
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, like roughly 10 years. She put out this amazing album, disappeared for 10 years, and then came back, dropped down He Lullaby, disappeared for another 2 years, dropped another single, and then it's disappeared. Is she like seriously? Like, you cannot give us an album as good as you did for your debut, and then decide, okay, fuck you niggas, I'm just gonna go do my own shit.
No, like I really like respect artists that do that. Like, take your hiatus as long as you want to. You're giving us something like we can count on quality when you come back. You don't have to keep giving us bang after bang after bang if you're tired.
No, but when you're coming back, come back with a full project, Mazi. Don't sprinkle crumbs all over my dish and tell me, yo, taste that. No, Jaje. Of course, inaonja poa, Mazi. I want more.
But yeah, so Washed Away, Kelela's first single in a really long time, and came with like a stunning video. She shot it in the Danakil Depression, which I had never seen before. It gave me FKJ. You know that famous video of theirs that everybody like refers to when you want to chill at a party.
Oh yeah.
What do they call it? But yes, the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia. I thought it was very therapeutic. Really happy that Kelela is back.
You guys shooting videos in the middle of war. You gotta respect the artistry. Like, a country is at war. Not wanna shoot video, Maze. Like, kunaweza kuwa na homing missile at any time in a wipe out your video shoot. But you pray she finished well.
Jinku also released Bubbling Under. It's a 2-song project with Shano Maimba. I love
Shano is the homie.
Shano's pen, man. Shano, like... Let me tell you, like I love soulful songwriters.
You can have your orgasm moment later.
I love soulful songwriters. I love how intricate he is with the way that he expresses himself. And anytime I hear a song of his, I float. So yeah, maybe I'll have my orgasm later, but like maybe I already had it when I first listened to this project.
Please.
That's
a bit too much.
TMI. Okay.
TMI.
Acha nisonge. Let me move on to Njere. She released a new project called Unintentional. Just about heartbreak and whatever memories that evokes for her. I found her. I really like her style of narrative storytelling. Her pen is also exquisite, her voice, and the fact that like she fused a lot of really interesting sounds into this album. There's Alte, there's R&B, there's Amapiano. She really milks, most of her influences in this project. It's a really good listen. I highly recommend. And then Seduction by Sedo.
Oh, okay. I haven't gotten to that. Sedo's a legend, and he deserves his flowers. Definitely, that is something.
It's a debut album.
You know the problem of like the music cycle is you say I'm going to listen to something later, and then that later is like a month later because so much new shit has come out in between when you said I'm going to listen to this and when you actually listen to it. Yeah,
true, because this one came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
almost 2 weeks.
It's been in like my periphery kuskiza, but again not yet.
Anything else? But I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty strong for a debut album. You have Mbuzi Gang, Karun, Yashinsky, a bunch of really interesting acts. Finally, I was listening to Black Vintage, which is Black Vintage The Reprise by Black Odyssey. I really enjoyed this project. If you like Anderson .Paak and the Nationals, if you like D'Angelo and the Vanguards, you please listen to this album. It's a reprise cut of Black Odyssey's last project, which is Black Vintage. It has everything that I love: hip hop, jazz, Benny the Butcher. Like, it's so interesting.
The butcher coming, nigga. The butcher coming.
Yeah, but it's definitely a classic. It's probably one of my albums of the year. I don't like making lists like that, but it's definitely high up there.
Oh, we will have to make one.
Eventually.
We'll have to like December. That episode is gonna come out.
So yeah, for sure. Let's move on to the first topic.
Yeah. So this week, I was watching a webinar. It was on like Pan-African webinar. It was like guys were discussing about monetization and royalties, and one of the guys from Universal Kenya, his name is Sam. He's a really cool dude, really knows his way in and out of the industry. He mentioned that if you're an artist in Africa right now and you are able to monetize your marketing, you're able to like pay for your marketing and your production, you the label only serves you for distribution. So I started to think it's been 15 years since like Soulja Boy really changed how we consume music on the internet, because he was the first internet rapper to like go number one. 15 years later, is the label as important as it was, or is a no label situation like better for an upcoming artist? And I know you're more into like the artistic side, of music, but I really like to focus on the business, and I have moved on maoni zangu. But what do you think?
Personally, I'm anti-labels because I feel like they rely on like a very it's not a good premise to assume that creativity is something that just flows, that's reliable, that you can bank on as a label. You tell someone, you have 10 years, you can create all the bangers you want, but like you have to do it on our schedule because we've given you this amount of money. Artists have complained about like not having that kind of artistic freedom. And that's where I stand, because I don't think that I feel like it's a good thing to want this artist to make money from their art and like to manage the way that they do that. But when you start like defining the metrics by what you see, by what you feel would be good for the artist rather than what the artist has in them, what they want to share, then that's where the problem comes in. So I'm anti-label for that, especially, I feel like a lot of artists have talked about how unreliable creativity can be. So
when you fully anti-label, like make your own music and distribute it the way you want.
I mean, when the day and age where that's like possible.
Okay.
That literally you've just said that, like.
We are in the day and age, but we are.
Yeah.
What
does the label help with?
I don't want to vilify the label, because the more I've worked with the guys from the label and seen how they move, and also worked with artists, I kinda empathize with the labels at some point, because now.
Why?
Because labels have always been scummy, like in general. Like they give you bad deals, they give you shit returns, they take all your masters. They have this like Hollywood accounting, where they give you they tell you Juliet will give you 50% of the net income, but when they do their own magical accounting, it turns out that your album didn't make any money because and now you're left with nothing.
And they always take a bigger cut for some reason, like.
Yeah, but labels have a lot of like. You can't blame the whole label for like the failings maybe of management or how they run or the decisions that are made. But labels have some really good people working there. Yeah. People who can really advance your career, because as an artist, a lot of the time, you are the talent. You're not supposed to start thinking about how distribution and bookings and like finances and getting an auditor and all those things. At the end of the day, the label handles all of that. And a good label should be able to take an artist and turn them from this like thing that badly undefined to like, this is who you are now. This is what you are. And some labels do that. Not everybody who is signed to a label will go through that. Trust me. Very few people who are signed to a label will not go through that. There are a lot of people who are signed to a label just so that you are not signed by another label. They put you on the shelf. You could be signed or a shelf viewer. Yeah. There's so many artists who've been shelved. Like you get signed, they put you on the back burner, and that's your career gone. People are always asking, Bono Jatoa Ngoma for just 5 years. It's because your label has fucked you over. But at the end of the day, Pia, you signed a contract, and I know like that's a bit of a cop-out.
Yeah, but like I feel like that's where it becomes nefarious. Like you're bringing in an artist that probably has no idea how to read these things. Like I'm okay with labels as long as like they find a way to also like the artist can also find a way to protect themselves, or they also show that like they're willing to help bridge that like knowledge gap. You don't just take advantage of someone that won't be able to understand what you're providing them. And and what they're supposed to give you in return.
Okay, I get that. Yeah. But now I'm also going to look at the no label like type of scenario. From what I've like observed, some of my favorite artists of all time, like especially rappers, like those guys are now becoming big, like in their late 30s. They're becoming like, they're not even like big. They're now just creeping into the mainstream in their late 30s. But what I've realized is they're all rich. They all have a lot of money. they all like they will never struggle for the rest of their lives. Those guys are made kabisa. And it's the story of like you're gonna start your musical journey at, let's say, 19, and you're gonna reap the rewards at 39. That's when you're gonna now like see like this is
the fruits of what you're doing.
The fruits of what you're doing. But does and that's without a label, by the way.
Yeah.
That's without a label. That's you making your own music, promoting your own music, building your own fan base without any help from anyone. There's nobody to take your music to 40. You're not gonna get a song with the biggest pop artist. You're not gonna be dropped on Mariah Carey's album. That is never gonna happen for you. That is gonna be very hard. But the more you continue and the more you build, once you build a solid foundation, it's easier to get to the top. So unakuta guys at 15, 16, 20 years into their careers, and now that's when they're like, you're seeing them on like, you can hear the song on Kiss.
Yeah.
Like utasikia, it's not even their song, they're just featured on like a Fifth Harmony song or something, but they're good. So it depends at the end of the day as an artist. Are you looking at
what you're going to get from the label?
What you're going to get from the label. I hope, if you're not going to sign to the label, are you down for the 10, 15, 20 year journey to getting to where you want to be?
By yourself.
Because the label is like, you might get there in a year or two, actually. You might get to that point in a year or two. Or you might be fucked forever and fade out of the public consciousness.
True.
So
true.
It
really depends.
It really depends. But I feel like right now in the age of the internet, not signing, because as Sam said, like as I said before, if you have the money to produce, you have the money to market, then you have no reason to sign to a label for anything other than distribution.
True.
In 2012, Macklemore dropped The Heist. Diamond album, like 2 Diamond singles. He made so much money from that album, so much money that basically he retired from music. Just one album made him so much. And I even remember they had to call the guy back, the guy who did Thrift Shop, The Hook.
Yeah.
They had to call him back to renegotiate his contract because they had paid him, I think, like $3,000 for The Hook. And that song was like #1 and it had gone diamond. And they're like, no, you
needs more of a cut.
Yeah. And again, he only paid 6% of his total to Warner Brothers for distribution. So the label touched nothing of his money, not his show money, not his album money, except your 6% for distribution. Now one of the guys were distributing, and it was an independent deal. So the blueprint is there. I feel like the blueprint already exists on how you can do it. It's whether you want to take that long period of time, and you see like if I step by step, year by year, because at the end of the day, you're gonna see people come and go.
Yeah.
You're gonna see people what watakuja waende. And you're gonna be there still. You're gonna still have your own fan base. You're gonna exist. People are gonna consume your music, come to your shows, buy your merch, buy your albums, and you'll be good. You will be wealthy. Utaishi vizuri. So like it depends. Do you wanna be like you could take a risk? Let's use rap analogies here. You could take a risk and become the next Lil Baby, or you could decide to stay low and build for a very long time and become the next Currency.
Yep. That's actually a pretty succinct way to put it.
Yeah. So again, if you don't need labels resources, do not sign.
You don't
because
have
they
to.
will jack you around, and they will always tell you that they know better than you, and sometimes they do, but most times they don't.
Exactly, and you don't want that kind of energy like in your career. I feel like you deserve to know that like you're worth it every step of the way.
And
anyway, that's me being soft, but yeah.
Before we finish this conversation, I just want to give an example of a label fucking somebody over. 2009?
Yeah.
2009. Wale was signed to, was it Atlantic? I think it was Atlantic. Put a song, like, there was a bidding war actually. They won the bidding war. Signed him, put out an album that flopped because they didn't know how to market this artist. They had him on a song with Lady Gaga, which flopped. So imagine having a song with Lady Gaga in 2009 and in a flop.
And it doesn't, yeah.
Lady Gaga was like gold dust in 2009. Could sprinkle it on a pile of shit and people would still eat it. So yeah, but again, signed him, fucked him up, shelved him, and then dropped him. And then like 2011, he has the best verse on one of the biggest songs of the year, like biggest song in the club, biggest song in the streets, No Hands. Gets signed to MMG, drops Ambition, #1 album. So you can see how just changing the situation of where you are and how the people are handling you can shift your career trajectory completely. Because if Atlantic hadn't dropped him, he might have missed that little window he had just to even be able to transition to a space where people could respect him and give him like the artistic freedom to, you do go-go, Go do it. There's a song on his debut album, Into My Sweetie. You know it?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't. I'll have to listen to it.
So nice. It samples You're my sweetie.
Oh, really?
My sugar. Yeah. I've forgotten who sang the song, but I know it's from Sierra Leone. Anyway, I've just spent so much time talking about labels and everything.
It's a really good breakdown. It's a really good breakdown. You really brought out, I guess, both parts of it as well.
Yeah.
In the way that I had also thought about it at first. I didn't want to just say that it was nefarious. It's good for us to talk about the benefits that it could provide an artist as well.
Of course. Yeah. Because artists are not the easiest people to work with. Trust me, I know personally. Now, the next thing, this is something you want us to talk about a lot, by the way.
No, I didn't even want to talk about it with as much emphasis. I feel like we already talked about gatekeeping Afrobeats and why gatekeeping music in general is whack. This one was more of a conversation that was happening last week. For those who don't know, Maforisa tweeted or was responding to a tweet where it was alleged that Davido was the one that blew up Amapiano or took Amapiano around across the continent. Maforisa responded, said that it was actually Wizkid and Burna when they did Sponono. And then later on just tweeted that, we don't gatekeep Amapiano. It doesn't matter who takes it. He actually said, let me just read it verbatim. Amapiano
Hey, okay.
Sorry, this felt a bit Zulu.
Felt a bit what?
With or without you movement, no gatekeepers. Let it sink in. Yeah, no gatekeepers for Amapiano. So there you have it. You can't gatekeep music. You can't gatekeep a genre. Everybody is allowed to touch it. Also, why does no one ever involve Kenya in these conversations? We don't have an entire Amapiano field as well. A lot of people have been making Amapiano. I don't know what.
But now I get a lot of people have been making.
But
there is, I don't know. I don't want to say this in a bad way, but there is a quality difference
between that and Afropiano, or what they're calling Afropiano.
I don't know. I just feel like maybe there's something in the water in SA that we don't have in Kenya. That just reflects in the fact. You can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
But you can feel it. There's just something different. But I'm not saying Kenyan artists are bad or the guys who are making Amapiano are bad, because if you want to listen to Kenyan Amapiano, Nabiso Wanyama is doing a good job.
Nabiso's work is
He's really Kwanza, he has a song called Sunday Hangover that samples the late President Moi. Akisema pombe ifunguliwe kila mahali. So if you want to listen to Kenyan Amapiano, they're really good artists. But from my opinion, Kenyan, there's that little lack of, I don't know.
But people are still picking it up. I feel like it just needs a bit more time.
Do you know the same way, here's my thing, the same way you could get a cookbook, and then follow the recipe step by step, and it still would not taste the same. Or you could go to a restaurant and ask for a meal, like it, and they'll give you the exact recipe with the steps to follow.
Go and do it at home.
When you go and do it at home, and then you feel like there's something missing. But anyway, that's Kenyan Amapiano. But Amapiano has evolved in its own little, from whatever it is in SA, it has evolved because there's TZ Amapiano, there's Kenyan Amapiano, as you said, there's the Afropiano, which...
Yeah.
Again.
Afropiano is Afrobeats and Amapiano, I guess.
No, but I think the whole thing with Davido and Maforisa, those niggas have beef behind the scenes.
They do, because
these niggas definitely have beef. Nafikiri also do and argue about a genre. These niggas are rich. They don't care about what people think. These people definitely have beef somewhere. Somewhere along the line, kuna mtu alikosea mtu mwingine.
No, Davido definitely alluded to that. He said that Maforisa has never liked him. All I've been is good to you. I was see, I need to know more about that.
This is the speech at the end of the day. Godfather to Fredo. How could you? Can't believe you betrayed the family. Those niggas have beef. Crazy. And it's now becoming, people are having serious discussions about gatekeeping Amapiano because two niggas can't have a private conversation.
Maze, mkona number the other person. Kila mtu text
you niggas can afford private jets. Just go to where the other niggas is and hash it out. People are having Twitter spaces and think pieces, and we're even talking about it here because two niggas can't sort out their issues. My God. I don't watch kuongelea. Let's move on to the next thing.
Let's move on. I'm going to say this one out loud because I laughed so hard when I saw it. Talent shows are bad.
Talent shows are bad. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Now, do you remember how this discussion came about?
Yes. So last week we got to go for Taska's Oktoberfest launch, and the performers that night were also part of a talent show that Taska is running right now called Taska Nexters. So Nexters, I guess, reminded me of Project Fame. It's a bunch of artists living in a house, being taught different skills, being guided, I guess, in how to build their career. Taska, I think, is offering that to both musicians and esports.
Esports guys?
Yeah, esports guys.
I did not know there was an
that.
esports. Because me, I'm deep in the esports scene, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, they should put me in the house. Me as a... Taska, throw me a bag.
But work on a like a very interesting structure. I guess I don't know where the mansion is, but yeah, we got to see some of these performers live for the first time. And then I mentioned to Hafare that Taska Nexters is a talent show, and he was like, "Oh, okay. I want to hear more about why you don't like talent shows."
Okay, I don't hate talent shows in the sense that, like, they're not like good in that. Like, okay, for the artist who's going through
for the artist
who's going through the training, it's a good thing because you're learning, you're making contacts, like you're improving your networks, improving your skills.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels kind of auctiony, like gladiatorish.
No, that's definitely true.
It feels so gladiatorish because they're now like they have to sing their hearts out for us, the public, and then you remember like at thumbs up, thumbs down, Sindio.
Yeah.
And then this person who was putting all their heart and the effort into this particular thing is being judged by, again, are they being judged by people or by the judges?
Though they're judges for sure. It's not the people this time.
Okay. You know, I would prefer if it was the people than the judges.
Yeah, no, because I actually wanted to talk more about that because I was watching an expose on the X Factor. And everyone who knows the X Factor knows just how mean Kina Simon Cowell can be.
Yeah.
And there was this musician called Zoe Alexander who, like, they literally just tanked her entire career based on the fact that, like, they scripted the entire show. They already knew who was going to win.
Yeah.
But by the time they'd seen the audition tapes, they had an entire storyline for this person. Like, it's predetermined, and on top of that, like, the way that they edit the video ended up making her look like an angry, selfish artist who's not like worth her crop. And it really wrecked her career, it wrecked her relationships in real life. By the time she was leaving the show, she couldn't redeem her life. So if it's the people voting, it makes a lot more sense than the judges who might have their own predeterminations about who should win.
Let me give you an example of why I prefer the people voting.
Yeah.
There used to be this show on KTN. I don't think was it called Can You Dance? I can't remember. There used to be
Dancemania.
No, Dancemania.
No, Dancemania was on MTV
sana. Yeah. Some people who are watching this might not even know what that is. But this dance show, there was a couple, a boy and a girl, who the judges clearly did not like at all. But the audience were voting for who was being kicked out. So, and the audience would always keep them in the show because them they used to perform for the audience, not for the judges.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where the judges were like, we can't, because if this continues, these guys are gonna win. And like I think the judges felt like maybe these guys aren't the right image fit or anything. And again, this is a talent show. Like I think one of the episodes they decided there's no fan vote. The judges are deciding who's going through. And immediately that day, Yosiku kicked to the curb. But now this is what I even told you.
Yeah.
I don't think the people who are judging these competitions are even good enough to win a competition like that.
Fair.
Based on the same standards.
You're right, though.
Because who's judging who? Like, did you make it off sheer talent, or was there much more involved? Like, I've seen people who have no careers judging shows and telling people what they can or can't do.
Yeah.
When themselves as artists have been doing this for 10 years, and video yako izipata 15k views.
Exactly, and plus it's a really intensive like program. A lot of the time you're spending the entire week preparing this song. You've really like internalized the way that you would want to do it, and then some guy just comes and tells you nah.
Kwanza, that Napat na Niboju,
Yeah.
there are guys who have become stars of these like reality TV shows, and they're not performing. They're the judges. Like Simon Cowell is the star. He's the one people come to watch.
Yeah.
Not because he gives any insight or is like helpful. It's because he's mean.
He's snarky.
He's mean to the artist. So this is supposed to be a way to elevate the artist, but now who's the star of the show?
You've trashed a bunch of people. You're only elevating at least one person, and then that one person, like they have like a guarantee that you're going to give them a certain amount of money, but like after that the support ends. So like it's bad news all around.
No.
I understood why you said that talent shows
Now,
are bad.
the biggest like notion that talent shows are bad, or like proof, whatever, is how many talent shows are there in the US for singers? Millions. There have been like
America's Got Talent,
America's Idol, X Factor, The Voice. Like there have been at least in the past like 20 years, there have been at least 200 iterations of those shows. How many people do you know who have won, who have gone on to have careers? Like proper careers.
Proper careers beyond that. Even in Kenya, like I guess some of the winners that we've had.
Even Kenya is like a smaller thing. Even in the US, like the biggest music market in the world, in 200 plus iterations of talent shows, there's only one person I can tell you, who's gone on to have a proper career from music. That's Kelly Clarkson. And that's because she won the first ever American Idol when it was like a pop culture phenomenon where everybody was watching it.
Yeah.
So if you're about to be on a talent show, don't waste your time, by the way. Just work on you can work on your craft, you can be mentored, you can do so many other things.
Even after
as
you
an
leave.
artist, even after you leave. And you can grow. You can become more. So yeah, talent shows are bad, by the way. And if nikisikia mtu alipunch a talent show judge, I'll understand. Me, like,
Get it.
if niggas out here handing and Mbugo the feed, like me, I'm good with it. That nigga was so mean. My God.
Oh my God. Actually, yeah, he was pretty terrible. A lot of people tuned in on Sundays just for that.
Yeah, him talking down on people. Like, what the fuck? Anyway.
Yeah.
And to our final discussion point of the show, I think this one imenisumbua for a minute.
So this one is about Issa, Mac Miller, and posthumous hating. Like people deciding that they want to dredge up dead rappers to, I guess, assess whether their bars would really hold up if they had survived or like lived longer, which is so
cloud chasing.
Why would you do, like, as a journalist, you have so many other things to write about. You have like a broader way to analyze music, but you decide to keep bringing back, like, why is Mac Miller constantly being criticized?
Let me tell you why. Because Mac Miller was always one of those artists who had like a very big fan base.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a vocal fan base. It's like he's like Nipsey Hussle. Because somebody asked a question like, if Kendrick Lamar died today, people in LA wouldn't show out the way they showed up for Nipsey Hussle. Because people like Nipsey Hussle was LA, like he was from this, like he was there, he still lived there. Everybody in the hood seen him grow. So people connect with artists differently. An artist's connection with you isn't just based on how big they are, how many streams they have. People connect with artists on a very different level. And Mac Miller as an artist, as he evolved, I think his work got more personal, more relatable.
It did.
And all the people who were listening to them, like, and there was a lot of word of mouth. If you're listening to Mac Miller, you are telling somebody else to listen to Mac Miller, and they would tell somebody else. So you exist in a world where you are very popular, very well liked, but you exist on the periphery of the mainstream. And when something happens to you, all this outpouring of love comes out. That people start to wonder:
Is it real?
Is it real? Was this artist as big as they are? And like, come on, the Mac Miller piece. There was a Mac Miller piece written by some dude
last week.
That was very, like, it was very wrong, very disgusting actually. And I use that word with all the bile. It was very disgusting.
It's true.
And these are old people who, like, they're still stuck in the ways of New York being the center of rap. And I don't understand why this white kid is getting so much love when I know so many better rappers out there. They have that mentality of, why is this person getting this thing when he isn't as good as A, B, C, D? And skill isn't the only measure of somebody relating to you.
Yeah.
Like, you can be the most lyrical, miracle individual rapper in the world, but people will not relate to your music or whatever you're saying beyond just the level. Like, the niggas who listen to Hobson.
Okay, what I found interesting is that it coincided with the announcement by Sakaja that there's a road in South Sea. I mean, there's a petition going around where a road in South Sea is going to be named after Issa. And
I fully support that.
yeah, same,
Fully
obviously,
support
for biased reasons, but like at the same time, somebody pointed out that Issa also had some very primary school rhymes. He wouldn't have held up if like he lived as long as he did. I mean, if he lived longer than he did. I thought that was really rude, first of all.
No, but that person who said that is always rude, so it doesn't
he
matter.
just be talking shit. I hate that like we had to give credence to that, but like I feel like we need to put some respect on Issa's name. It's about time.
Very important.
It's about time.
More than just being a musician, Issa was a cultural icon.
He was.
Like he's one of those.
He represented something.
He's one of those like Kenyans who are, if you asked about Kenya, you're gonna mention him as
cannot mention Issa.
He's an important Kenyan. Like he was the first, I feel like, modern true superstar of Kenyan music.
Yeah.
Like, he was working with Kina Nameless, Kina Nani, but he was the guy. Issa was the guy. Like everybody who's making music now is in the shadow of a legend, basically.
True.
And I feel like him passing away added more to his like mystique and persona. But that does not take away from the fact that he was a very important part of this musical culture and even just pop culture in general. And again, regarding his lyrics, with any skill set, by the way, with any skill set, anything that requires you to have skill, as time progresses, everyone who does it gets better.
That's true. It's not that like he would have stuck at the same level of his skill set. He would definitely have improved. You'd probably have like the same kind of status that Joakali has right now, or like even better. Like you need to assess things by that time. You can't just assume that it's going to stay stagnant because of the time that he died. Or the skills that he had at the time that he died.
Let me like for the people who watch football here, like who are listening, you know Dimitri Payet. You might not know him. He's a player. He's a French football player. Okay, unamjua.
What does it matter? See, labda nimemsikia, labda nimemwona kwa
Okay,
TV.
so let me explain to the people.
Why are you just assuming?
See, I'm saying you might. I said might.
Yeah,
Niko na wiggle room.
Just keep going.
Okay.
It's okay.
Dimitri Payet, he plays for Marseille. He used to play for West Ham in the UK. And he is one of the most skillful players ever seen. Sindio? But he's not the best player right now. If you were to take him, Venyako Saizi, and you drop him in the 1980s, he would stunt on every single player. He would like weave and dart and pass through everyone. It isn't because like football was worse back then.
Yeah.
It's because like football has gotten so much better in terms of everything, like how you train, nutrition, kila kitu. The level, the baseline went from here. Let me just share, like here to here. This is the baseline, Sasa. And everybody who is here doesn't mean these people are bad. It's just that everybody else has gotten better. Like people have gotten better, like in terms of music, better writing, better production. Like new styles have evolved. Like there's like branching out. Like there's so much more to do, and there's so much more required right now to succeed than back then. But that doesn't even mean that our walikuwa chini.
Exactly.
So they just existed in a time where what they were like, that was the level we were at. And yeah, please give Issa his road, by the way.
Give Issa his road, give Issa his flowers all around. Also, why did you have to use a football reference? Uwezi ongelelea, I don't know, House of the Dragon, things that people...
Hata hujawachi hiyo kitu bado. Alafu angalia. You know the worst part, like you have not even watched.
I started.
Uko episode 1.
Wow.
Umwona Demon tu kasema sawa. Okay, that's enough for me.
Let's move on to the next item.
Yes. Are we almost done, by the way? We're almost out of time. We have like a few minutes left.
Yes. So to close the show, we thought that it would be... We want to interact with you guys a lot more.
Yeah.
We want you guys to tell us, what you're thinking, what you're listening to. But more importantly, I feel like this should be more focused on... You had a very interesting question. I want to hear what...
I love fun questions. I love questions that make people like think. And again, because guys and girls can answer this question now. So
what's the most twerkable song in your opinion? What song really like automates your booty? What
exactly?
That was such a terrible way to put it. But like,
you come on, cyborg. Engage twerk button.
What song makes you rise? What song makes you dance? What song makes you
twerk? Not dance, twerk.
Twerk.
And that's for the ladies. And for the guys, what song do you think looks good when people are twerking to it? Or if you twerk to, because again, we're all
That's
inclusive
kind
here.
of creepy, but like, let's.
Nah, because it might be okay.
You're sitting in the club thinking about, here, this is the
Okay,
song,
no,
this is
it
the
doesn't
song.
have to be the club.
Hella
Like,
ass.
it doesn't have to be the club. Like, labda kwa nyumba, uko na dem yako,
Oh, yeah.
and she wants to
Yeah,
twerk.
true.
Like, yeah, there are many scenarios.
Nyumba ya
Please.
kureminisce, okay, yeah. So it's not just at the club, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the most talkable song? I think, and once again, this is Old Faithful, No Hands, Waka Flocka, Wale.
That's kitambo. There's so many like.
I know, but again, it's my Old Faithful. Like, this is all reliable. Like, regardless of what happens, girl, the way you move it, got me in a trance. DJ, turn it up. Ladies,
Okay,
this
yeah.
shit. When that starts,
Yeah. I
you know,
get you.
there's a lot of gyrating. There's a lot of vibrating. There's a lot of heads at the floor.
I think it's Fight Night by the Migos. That's a booty shaking song. In fact, I can still see it. I can still see it.
Oh my God.
That's me being.
But that is a good choice.
No, Fight Night is a really.
Not a good choice,
really,
no
really
hands,
good
but
song.
still,
Agree to disagree.
shake my hand. Anyway, guys, please let us know what you
Yeah.
guys think the best song to track through. So like, we really look forward to the comments. We might actually make a playlist. Mkitupatia enough songs. We might. No promises though. Anyway, this has been episode 3 of Breaking Hertz. It's me, Hafare.
And Sookie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Make sure to catch all the other content on the channel. The mics are open, and the wildcard with Venant and Eric. And we'll see you guys on episode 4.
Peace.